We, and I do mean we, are here at Drum Channel today. Finally, it's been a long time,
It has.
Mr. Bozzio.
It has. I've been away.
This feels like home now, yes.
Yeah.
Before we get into what you are doing here today, you have been away doing?
Well, basically touring, you know, and I'm very lucky to have a great booking agent and a press guy, and they've been helping me, and now I've done 2 successful tours in Europe, and now I'm bringing it to America. So, and then meanwhile, the Brecker brothers called out of the blue. Randy Brecker and Michael, of course, you know, dearly departed and sorely missed. But my old buddies, Barry Finnerty, who's we've known each other since we were 16 from the Bay Area, and Neil Jason, the funky bass player on Heavy Metal Bebop, we're going to do a reunion tour. So that's happening in Europe this July. So then I come back from that and I do 2.5 months here, and then an extensive tour of smaller towns in Japan. Because a lot of people...
when you say 2.5 months here, so you understand, because I couldn't be more excited about this, it's yourself doing solo performance.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you know, DW and Sabian and everyone have been great, and when the economy tanked, you know, no one could afford to do clinics, the whole sort of atmosphere changed out there, and due to certain corporations, laws or rules, the clinic market just went away. And that's sort of like my favorite thing to do, is to be able to perform solo drum music. So, you know, it's built, and I've done things outside of the music instrument business, but I never had the means to, you know, promote it and market it and book it myself. So enter Jeff Aug from Maximum Booking, and, you know, he's just aced it, like, 2 times now in Europe, and we've had sellout tours. I made some money, and the main thing is I don't want to just sit around and waste away. You know, I'm 63, and I want to play as much as I can before I die, or my body doesn't let me play anymore. So,
and you're playing more on fire now, because you're playing more, maybe that's why, on a constant basis.
I hope, yeah. I've been practicing, working on new things. I always try and chip away at that stuff. I've been painting a lot, have the rhythm and sketch project with Scene 4 that I think Neil Peart and Bill Ward and Stephen Perkins was the one who turned me onto that. That's all out and selling well, amazingly, and it re-inspired me to do more painting. And so, you know, I've been painting like crazy. It's just a great outlet for me. And it's very much like my music, because I'm one of those, I think I've developed into one of those intuitive types who just like doesn't know what he's going to do next, but something always comes out, you know, God's there for me or something. So yeah, so it's the painting thing is really fulfilling, and the composing and playing the drums as well are all just you know, I can't live without doing it every day. I start to get a little squirrely if I'm not working on something or feeling like, oh, I almost got that thing together that I, you know,
and working on it can include etching the bars and putting things together.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
making
that's
great inventor,
yeah,
constantly inventing.
You know, the zen of all that stuff is, you know, to try and do whatever you do really well, and it doesn't matter what it is, just, you know, have that kind of, like it's a performance. You're dead serious when you're doing a performance, and nothing can disturb your concentration. So you want to do that when you're working on, you know, mechanical things on the drums. You want to have, do a certain thing or tweak to make it feel better, or adjust and, you know, what have you. And then the rest of it is just like another kind of art project. This one, I just did the one like this kit, the Sick Jazz Kit. I did it in Japan, and that's got that Movinge finish with black hardware. It's just gorgeous. And I redid the whole thing. Mayumi helped me, and we painted everything black with these paint markers they have in Japan. And it just looks gorgeous and sounds good, and it's all midied up. Now this kit's midied, so I'm pretty much ready for anything.
And anything is coming to your town, by the way. Scroll down here and you'll get a complete list, and it's on your website
on
also.
On my website, on my Facebook page.
All the
Terry
tour
Bozzio.
dates and everything. Don't miss it. I mean, you know, you young kids out there especially, you're going to want to sit down and tell your grandkids, I saw Terry Bozzio. I actually saw him in person. And when you do see him in person, it's a musical experience that you just won't forget. I mean, I get chills talking about it. And I've been so lucky and blessed through the years when we've been developing Drum Channel, which we're still developing, to hear Terry play so much. And we have obviously a lot of footage on here of Terry playing, but there's nothing like seeing him in person. It just whets your appetite to want to see more of it, you know, and you're selling out.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, I've had added shows and 2 shows in some places, and I'm shocked and surprised and very grateful to anybody who cares to come see me.
So that's breaking news and other news that's happening here today in our Drum Channel studio. Recently, Sheila E. was here while you were on the road. She did her whole music video here.
Oh, great.
And Virgil Donati was here and did his part of a music video where he had to play over an existing track that he had to write out. And we have some footage of that actually on Drum Channel as a little Secrets of the Pros. And you were actually playing to a track, which you do quite often whenever you can. Explain a little bit how this came together and what you were doing.
Well, the whole concept was for me to film and record a session. You know, people ask me, you know, with Pro Tools nowadays, I can send you the tracks, you can record this, I'll pay you your fee. So this guy, Eduardo Kusdra, sent me, well, we had a plan to do this session, and I took so long because I've been gone in Japan a lot, in Europe. And so we finally nailed down a date, and by that time he had, you know, gotten somebody else to finish the track. So he gave me this new track, which is called Face to Face. It's a cover of a Shakti tune. Shakti, of course, with John Mclaughlin and all those great players. He sent me the chart, and he sent me the track to listen to, and then we film it here so that drummers can have the experience of how I approach a session. So I've just finished basically doing a bunch of takes, and you know, with Pro Tools it doesn't have to be perfect, so what we do is make many playlists, and he can take the parts he wants and throw away the garbage, you know. So that's how I approached this. First we made a little roadmap with Chris, and a trick I learned from John Waters from Pink Floyd when I played with him with Jeff Beck was he had a sampler that had the clicks and maybe some backing tracks and things like that. But his cue thing was his voice on a microphone counting before he was to come in singing, and it would say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he would say the first word of the lyric. So even if he blanked out on stage, because those guys, you know, play 80,000, 100,000 people, they can't afford to make a mistake. It's like Disneyland, you know, it's got to be perfect, you know. So I thought that was a really great idea. And for me, as an artist, I like to kind of lose myself in the track, and then if you have a bar before, you can make the transition into the new section. And so we did that, and it was fairly successful, and you kind of play through a few times and wet your feet and kind of see what direction you want to go. And then there's some tricky transitions in this. First of all, it's in an odd time. It's a bar of 7 plus a bar of 4/4, so that's 15/8. So that format is easy, and the chords are very easy and delineate the time signature, so all that made it a very easy session to do, unlike some that I've done here that were really challenging. And then it had a transition to a section in 15 that's grouped 5 groups of 3 to make the 15, like 5/4 but with triplets. Then from that there was a little 6/8 drum solo, and I did several takes of that just so he can choose, you know, what one he might want. A busy one, a Bozzio ostinato one, or one that's a little more tasteful, or one that's kind of in between. And then it goes back to the beginning of the head again, and the outro. And so the beginning, the very beginning of the track was free time, and kind of the Indian, you know, set up a drone and play some melodies and introduce yourself. And so I played a little glockenspiel and some gongs and some mallets on the cymbals and bells and what have you. And I had a count that cued me as to when to stop playing because the track is going to start. And just all those little things made it very easy. So I probably did about, I don't know, 4 or 5 full takes, and I don't know, 3 or 4 drum solos, and I'll give that all to Eduardo, and hopefully he'll take out the sections where I flubbed or pulled the time or rushed or stuff like that, and then he'll you know, make a nice track and start overdubbing on it. And I guess the only sort of challenge that you're concerned with is you don't really know what's going to be going on top of it. And I'm sure he'll do the right thing, but you know, he may want to just, if I'm playing too busy or too loose, he may just want to take one bar and say, okay, that's what I want for the verses, you know, and then this bar is what I want for the choruses, and then make it a little bit more stable, because that kind of thing is done quite a bit now too. You can cut and paste and make it sound perfect. So
I heard you play it several times. I can't imagine anybody wanting to change any one of the notes, because it feels so spontaneous and it flows so much. Yeah, there is
a flow like that, but you know, playing with a click and making it feel good, you know, that's something I have acquired as a skill, but it's not really my thing. I don't do that every day. I kind of play just by myself, you know. So I keep the time and I listen to my time and I try and play in sync with myself. But when it comes to playing with a click and having it really feel good, you know, that's sort of something that I haven't really done in years. I just do it maybe, well, since we've been here, I think I've done only three sessions.
So yeah, it's been
so if you want me to play on your record,
this is the place. This is the place to do it. And what we'll do for you is we'll pick one of the takes where you played through the entire track. Mm-hmm. And why don't we play it for you exactly the way you were hearing it, where you did the count-offs a little bit ahead of time?
Yeah, I did the count-offs with the click track. And so as the click I'm hearing in my head, tuck, 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 it'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, like stop, and then the guitar starts to lick and comes in. And at the end of a section, it'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I know to go into the 15, 16.
There's some parts that were kind of out of time, and then you had to count to get back in as I was listening.
Yes, but the click was running all through that, so that's a little distracting too in terms of trying to play spacey and free. And you don't want to step on the other guys as well, but you know, they can mix and do all kinds of tricks, add a little reverb. And
so what's the instrumentation that's on the track that you
just
played?
Bass and acoustic guitar.
And now drums.
And now drums, yeah.
So, and in doing that, you don't have any idea, they never sent you an idea of what the actual entire track was going to be, so you knew what you were playing under.
There's going to be, I would imagine there's going to be a melody, and then there's going to be a solo at some section that the guitarist Eduardo will play.
But you haven't heard any of that.
No, and so I don't have the luxury of hearing what he plays and playing accordingly. That interaction won't be happening. But that's okay, you know, a good musician can make music on top of whatever he hears. And I've had people adjust to little fills I do, and they'll play it with me, or they'll leave space for that fill and then continue on. There's so many ways and choices, and it's a very creative and sort of, you know, wide open way we can work these days, so with technology.
You listen to it and tell me if you don't think it's a complete piece by itself.
Yeah, and thanks Eduardo for hiring me.
Yes, and it is absolutely true. Terry will be, I can get a hold of him, I can find him. If you want him to do anything
in 2015, yeah.
On your projects, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll have a squeeze a day in here or there somewhere, but no, you're really out there on the road.
I'm gone, yeah.
In 2015, we want to make that the drum channel year where we can like lock Terry down here and do a lot more. And in order to do that, we need you as members out there to subscribe and let other people know about Drum Channel. It's really, really important. I think the message we have to get out, we've been working on it for 6 years almost now. We'll never forget the day I called Terry and said, I'm going to be doing an educational website, and anything you'd like to do to help. And he says, I'll move up there from Austin, Texas, and we'll get it going. So, and we continue to get it going, and we do appreciate the support of all of you people who have subscribed also. Yeah. And what makes this fun? And another fun thing, which when you're watching us on Drum Channel talking at the moment, you'll also be able to go over and look through our schedule and see Terry, who tomorrow, or Thursday of this week, is going to be doing a show with Clayton Cameron. Yeah, Clayton Cameron. I can't wait for that. I'm a huge Sammy Davis fan, and I'm a huge Tony Bennett fan. And, you know, I'll tell this again, so sorry for repeating myself, but I always test my vocal mic for saying, hi, I'm Joe Blow, and this is the name of that tune. I always test it by singing I Left My Heart in San Francisco, a la Tony Bennett. And Sammy Davis I love as well. So, you know, I have
at least 3 friends who, when we talk to each other, we talk like Sammy. You know,
and I've heard, and he does a great, well, you'll have to watch that show to find out, but he does a great job. Not to mention, you know, he'd also worked with B.B. King and James Brown. It's going to be a fun show.
Well, Clayton, I heard about when I first started doing clinics back in the mid-'80s, and Rick Drummond, you know, who was working for Remo at the time, said, I was out with Sonny Emery, who's a chop master, and a core, and, you know, college-educated, phenomenal player, great pocket and everything. And he said, Rick Drum said that, you know, Clayton Cameron is like Sonny, but on brushes, you know. And so I've been waiting to hear this guy for ages, and I get to host him. That's one of the joys, is hosting a guy you really love and respect, and picking his brain a little bit, and getting to watch him play, and then getting to jam with him. So.
And it is the art of music, the art of drumming, which is exactly what Terry's show is called here. And you get inside the minds of these guys. You can learn a lot. To me, it's a great lesson. It's another great way to learn, which is what our shows are all about here. Yeah. So it's a related lesson that we're telling you about, but you can scroll down and click on that and hear that one next. Thank you, Terry.
My pleasure. Thanks, Don. Thanks to all of you.
This has been a lot of fun. See you next time.